Today, in the video you're watching right now, we are doing a dive into the X-Men universe. We are discussing Professor X and Magneto's relationship in X-Men First Class. We will discuss why these characters work. We will then look at each character's origin, how it shaped their ideologies on the world, and discuss their eventual falling out. I'm honestly really excited about this one. X-Men First Class is probably one of my favorite movies. And their dynamic in this film is by far my number one reason for continually returning to it. Let's do this. They did it! They finally made a solid X-Men movie again, after two failed attempts and deciding to return to form. From director Matthew Vaughn came this masterpiece. I really have to hand it to the cast and crew of this movie. Michael Fassbender as Magneto and James McAvoy as Professor Xavier are great casting choices. They both knock it out of the park. Why is First Class so good? But not only good, why is it the peak of the Fox X-Men universe? Because First Class shows us a personal story of two people with different ideologies trying to find common ground, until their inevitable turn on each other. But the most exciting part is that their worldviews are different because of their childhoods. Charles grew up in a mansion with servants and a lot of privilege. So of course, he is more prone to see the good in people. He was likely never put in a situation where he had to kill or be killed. On the flip side of that coin, there is Eric. He was a Jewish boy growing up in World War II era Germany. He watched his mother get murdered right in front of him. I started this by saying I was going to dive into their relationship. Still, you'll find a lot of this video is about Eric. Eric's story and arc in First Class are pretty extraordinary. We open to a heartbreaking and suspenseful scene of him as a young boy. And as I said, his mother is murdered right in front of him to bring out his mutant ability. When his mother is killed, he, like any young boy would be, is flooded with a wave of emotion. Anger, rage, and then finally, sadness. Hats off to this young actor, Bill Milner. Well, young at the time. He's 26 now, but he really makes me feel that the emotions he is feeling at that moment are real. Then there is this really cool transition into the coin that Shaw was trying to get Eric to move into the title card. There isn't much to say about that, I just thought it was slick. After the title card, we get the first reveal of Michael Fassbender as Eric. He is now much more evolved than he was as a boy. We see the same coin he was trying to move but couldn't, leading to his mother's death. Now he has complete control over this coin. I've always felt in this film, Eric blames himself for what happened to him. How couldn't he? His mother was killed because he couldn't move the coin. Now Eric takes control of that coin. But ultimately, that coin is controlling him. In this movie, Eric is defined by that moment of his mother's passing. He cannot move forward because he cannot let go of his rage. And I can't say I blame him. Charles. Like I said, Charles had a different upbringing. He grew up in wealth and likely never had to stress about anything in his life. Then one day, a homeless shape-shifting mutant named Raven tries to steal food in his kitchen. He tells her she doesn't have to steal, offering her more food, and she basically grows up with him for some reason. It's interesting that Charles is an expert in mutants and claims to be proud of his mutant ability, while at the same time, he wants Raven to hide at all times. If the X-Men comics and movies are primarily an allegory for race, it's pretty accurate to have the man that came from wealth and power being open-minded, to an extent. Aside from that, Charles tries to see the good in humanity. I think his heart is mainly in the right place, even if he is a bit arrogant about it. In this movie, we can see both sides of the coin. We can empathize with Eric as he seeks revenge, but we can also see that Charles makes some good points. When has killing anyone solved anything?
Listen to me very carefully, my friend. Killing sure will not bring you peace. Peace was never an option.
Well, at the same time, Charles is blinded by his arrogance. He doesn't see that, well, not all mutants are the same. Humans are typically afraid of the unknown. So of course, they turn on them. While some may call Eric a pessimist, I see him as a realist. He knew from the beginning that they would deem them as a threat and attack them. And even at the end, Charles is dumbfounded, signaling Mora to call it off. The Fall. The different ideologies of both these men are what ultimately lead to their turn on each other. Charles knows what Eric plans to do when he meets Shaw, but one, he kind of needs his help, and two, he's again trying to find the good in him. It's what Professor X does. The climax of this film brings it full circle. As they finally find Shaw, they work together and Charles freezes him, allowing Eric to get his wish of revenge, using the same coin he couldn't control at the beginning of the film. From the moment that coin was placed into the palm of his hand, it sent him on a path to this inevitable end. But what makes this so impactful is that Eric could not do this without Charles there to hold Shaw. Charles fills this coin, and it is represented perfectly. As we come to the end of this film, the humans turn on them, as Eric suspected. So he does the only thing he's ever known how to do, and fights back. Charles, again, wanting to be better, tells him to stop. Then a fight ensues, causing Charles to be shot in the back. This is a story about two friends, two brothers, becoming enemies.
She didn't do this, Eric. You did.
Conclusion. X-Men First Class is my favorite X-Men movie because it tells us a story that makes us feel emotion on every level. We're angry when the characters are angry and sad when they're sad. We genuinely believe in the relationship between Charles and Eric. We want them to work it out, even though we go into this movie knowing they will end on opposite sides. Watching them become who they are meant to be is satisfying in so many ways.
I prefer Magneto.
I really enjoyed rewatching this movie. I might have to watch Days of Future Past now. Thanks so much for hanging out with me. If you enjoyed my rant, do me a favor. Smash that like button, hit subscribe, and tap the bell. I'm out of here. Peace.